Welcome back to the Citizen channel. Hope you're all staying safe and well. And we have one of our rating shows today, and we're going to look at the Champions League. We've looked back at the FA Cup, of course, quite recently. Sadly, that didn't go all the way. And sadly for this Champions League, it didn't go all the way either, did it? But if you want my FA Cup ratings, please check that out. There'll be a link on screen and obviously a link in the comments below as well. So we're doing the Champions League ratings. Yeah, like our FA Cup journey, as I said, just stalled a game short, wasn't it? So we managed 12 games. Oh, that wasn't too bad. I think we managed 5 in the FA Cup. So we've got 12 games to look at and look back at the players' ratings. And, of course, we're looking at my ratings and the Manchester Evening News ratings, which, in the main, 95% of which has been Stuart Brennan, probably more than that. I don't think Simon Bukowski did much this season as far as rating the players is concerned. So we're going to look back on how they performed and who's number one and who's bottom of the table. I've used the criteria. They've had to have started this is, I'm not including sub appearances, started at least 6 games out of the 12, so half the games, 50% to qualify. And on that basis, we end up with a not-so-dirty dozen. Yeah, 12 players we end up with from the squad who satisfied this criteria. And there's actually 20 players in total started at least one game in the Champions League. Any surprises? Well, yeah, Grealish and Sterling missed the cut. They didn't make the top 12. They didn't play enough games. No single player started all 12, but 3 did tie, playing 11 times, and that was Ederson, Bernardo and Mahrez. And Mahrez actually came on a sub in the other game. So of all of those 3 as well, he's the one who actually made an appearance in all the games. So as I said, that was quite interesting that no one actually featured starting in all 12, although Mahrez did come very close. I've included the M.E.N ratings, of course. When I do the ratings, I'll give you my rating first and theirs. And obviously, when I do my countdown from number 12, I'll do mine and tell you what position they finished on the M.E.N, because there are slight discrepancies between the two. A few interesting differences, actually. Some of the images I've got here today that you'll see are stickers on behalf, of course, of the MCFC Fan Food Bank Support Group. So please contact me or DM me if you want any more information on that. Some great artwork from various people for that worthy cause. Right, the honourable mentions before we get to the not-so-dirty dozen. We've got Stefan, just one game, Leipzig away, a 2-1 defeat, but he scored 8. 8 from me, 8 from Stuart. So, he probably would have won it. It would have been our top of the Champions League ratings if that was his average over more than one game. But hey, just the one game, so he did very well. Eagan Riley, just one game, Sporting at home, of course, a 0-0 draw, and he scored a 7 from me and a 6.5 from Stuart. Furness started probably the dead rubbers, didn't he? He started the Leipzig away game, which was a dead rubber, and Sporting at home, which was more or less finished, wasn't it? He scored 7 and 6.75 with Stuart. Jesus rated well in his 3 games that he played, Sporting at home and both the Real Madrid games, 7.33 for me and 8 for Stuart, so he did very well. Ake in his 3, he played against Leipzig at home, Brugge away and Leipzig away, and he scored 6.5 and 6.33 for Stuart. And the next 3 guys just missed out. I mentioned a couple before, didn't I? But the next 3 just missed out by 1 game. They all started 5 games each. Zinchenko, he started 5. His best was Real Madrid at home. He scored 6.8 with me, 6.4 with Stuart. And Sterling, his best was PSG at home, 6.6 from me, a 6.2 from Stuart. And yes, Mr. Grealish, Jack Grealish's best was actually his debut, his home debut against Leipzig at home. 6.5 from me and just 6 from Stuart, so not outstanding. That was his best score of the 5 games he played. Right, so let's go on to the not-so-dirty dozen then. Well, a surprising 12. 12 for me, 12 for Stuart as well, the M.E.N. Mr. Ederson, Ederson, bottom of the pile. Oh dear, Ederson. I mean, I've been recording this, obviously getting a bit of stick for the Real Madrid game, I've noticed, isn't he? But 11 games, his best game was Atletico Madrid away, a 0-0 draw. His ratings, his average for me, 6.45. His average for Stuart, just 6. So he came bottom of both our ratings. In 11th, and obviously 8th, well, obviously you don't know till I tell you, 8th on the Manchester Evening News is Gundogan. Just played 6 games. His best was PSG at home. 6.67 from me, 6.83 from the M.E.N and Stuart. So he's 11th, 8th in the M.E.N. And in 10th spot, for Stuart Brennan as well, Walker. Yeah, Walker, 7 games. Was probably him impeded a little bit because of his awful game of sending off at Leipzig, of course, which I think we scored 3 and 4 or 4 and 3. I give him 4. I think Stuart Brennan gave me 3. So that really did knock his average down. So he ended up with just 6.71 from both of us, from me and Stuart. But he's stuck in 10th. So at least he made the top 10. That's not too bad, is it? And in 9th and 11th on the M.E.N list, we've got, another surprise for me. Diaz, 7 games started. His best game was PSG at home, where he scored 6.79 out. He scored 6.79 average. This is his average score, and 6.57 from the M.E.N. In 8th spot and 4th, a big difference. This one, this is actually an interesting one. 8th in my listings, 4th in the M.E.N. Rodri, 10 games played. His best games were both Real Madrid and PSG at home, and his average score for me 6.8, for Stuart 7.1. So that's probably the biggest difference in places, or joint biggest difference in places anyway. And now carrying on from that, we don't have a 7th, we have a joint 6th. So we've got 2 guys tying 6th place. I couldn't split these 2. And the first one we're going to talk about was actually 2nd on the Manchester Evening News list. So they are 6th, joint 6th for me, 2nd for Stuart Brennan. And it was KDB. I'm a mean. I must be. 9 games. Real Madrid at home was his best, and he averaged for me 6.83, which is pretty good, and he averaged 7.33 with Stuart. So that is actually the biggest average score difference between us, me and Stuart, of a 0.5. So all the others are at least a lot closer than that. So very interesting. And also joint 6 and 6 in Stuart's list on the Manchester Evening News, Laporte, 9 games. His best was Atletico Madrid away. Average for me, 6.83 again, and for Stuart, 6.89. So that takes us into the top 5. Have I not said one of your favourites yet, or you're thinking who might be top? Into the top 5. And in 5th for me, but 9th, a lowly 9th for Stuart, Manchester Evening News. Mahrez, 11 games. His best was Sporting away. And his average for me, just not quite getting to the 7s now with these. 6.91 for me and 6.82 for Stuart. And in 4th spot, one of my little heroes this season, I must admit. He's 7th, though, on the Manchester Evening News listing. Stones, he's played 8 games. His best was Atletico Madrid away. I scored him 6.93 average. Stuart scored him a 6.88. So we go into the top 3, don't we? Here we go, the top 3. Who have I not said yet? Can you remember? Well, I've got a joint 2nd. I can't split these 2 either, and similar to the other ones before. In joint 2nd, I've got Cancelo. He's 5th on Stuart Brennan's Manchester Evening News listing. 9 games. His best was Brugge at home and away. And I've rated him, again, still not at the 7 mark, 6.94, and Stuart has rated him 7. And also joint 2nd, so who have I not said? Mr. Foden, Phil Foden, stop putting Iniesta. I rated him joint 2nd. Stuart has him 3rd, so not a lot of difference in all fairness with that one. He played 8 games. His best was Brugge away, and his average for me, 6.94, same as Cancelo, but for Stuart, 7.13. So that took him into 3rd on Stuart's. As I said, KDB was 2nd on Stuart Brennan, wasn't he? So that only leaves one guy, doesn't it? I'm sorry, I'm not biased. It's just my namesake, but obviously Stuart picked him as his number 1 as well. So it's not to do with me being biased, guys. It's just a fact, isn't it? At number 1, of course, Bernardo. At number 1 on Stuart Brennan's M.E.N ratings as well. 11 games. His best was PSG at home and Sporting away. And my average for me, at last, someone over 7. The only one to get over 7 who'd played these 6 games, who qualified. At 7.23, I scored Bernardo, average over his 11 games. And Stuart gave him 7.45. So there you go. The only guy I rated over 7. So that surprised me, I must admit. I thought others might get more than 7 as well. So let's go through the top 5 again. In 5th place, Mahrez, 9th in the Evening News. In 4th place, Stones, 7th in the Evening News. Joint 2nd for me with Cancelo and Foden. Cancelo was 5th in the M.E.N and Foden was 3rd. KDB being the odd one out. He was 2nd, of course, in the M.E.N, but way down my list. And, of course, number 1, Bernardo, what do you think, guys? Have you any surprises? What do you think about? Do you think it's spot on that? What? Let me know. Let me know what you think. Let me know your top 5. I'm not asking for your top 12. Just do you agree? Perhaps that Edison was the worst. Do you think Edison should have been at the bottom? I say it's just the figures. I've not dreamed this up at the moment. I've just gone back and analysed all the figures week by week in the Champions League campaign. So, did that surprise you? Let me know anyway, guys, and let me know your top 5. It'd be great to hear back from you. Was I surprised overall? Probably not. Not with Bernardo winning. I was perhaps surprised Edison being at the bottom, but stats never lie, do they? So there you go. We can't be far wrong. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little player rating, Champions League player ratings. Anyway, all your comments are very welcome. Anyway, until we meet again, that's one thing, don't I? Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. One step further next year, please. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.